Hey, yo, it's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. It's a Thursday, and you know what that means. I'm with the man from Clearwater, Florida, Mr. Robert Karpelis, WD Creative _ish on X. Robert, when are you going to listen to me about what happens on AEW Dynamite, huh?
It's my fault. I made the egregious mistake of believing that Tony Marie Khan was a competent booker who understood the art of narrative storytelling and the ability to build a company. And then I realized if he was going to do the dumbest thing imaginable, he would listen to what Dom said. And guess what, guys? Thankfully, I have my emotional support dog here with me to keep me calm as we talk through this week's episode of AEW Dynamite, where inevitably, when I record with Scott Chaplin, he's going to fall over himself to say how great this was. And I will mark this as a red letter date when we look at I'd say 1/3 empty Wembley Stadium in a matter of weeks.
Wow. All right, we'll get into it. Let's see how does folks in the
I'm sorry. Let's say hi to the folks joining us. Let's start positive and then get to how I actually am as a person. Maddie, Mr. Marijuana. So is that his last name? I don't understand.
No,
like the Mr. after it's. I'm joking, Tom. He said Punk champ and pushes Sammy over the edge, and now Kenny is the champ with some emojis. E says was up. Cammy Star says after morning, after watching Dark Side makes my hatred of VR a depth of hate I never knew existed. I'm going to assume that's your bro Vince Russo and not virtual reality, but I don't know. I haven't watched Dark Side yet. All due respect to friend of the show, Evan.
Episode's up for free. First episode's up for free up on YouTube.
So I have cable. I'm an old man that still has straight up cable. I turn my TV on. There's a signal. I then go pump water out of the well, and then we beat our clothing against a stone to clean it. We are old men here. The Big Boss 1983 says, is the booking of AEW and WWE getting out of hand based on recent decisions? No. This is great. Clearly, Adderall is a wellness policy violation. So they are booking about as frantic and insane and ADD as humanly possible. Wrestling Old Head says, good after morning all. One of the best takeaways from Dynamite is that Thekla is the new pipe bomb. I don't disagree. That women's casino gauntlet would have been insufferable if it wasn't for Thekla on commentary. She is a gift from the gods. It's kind of like, it is a lot like when Punk did that commentary run years ago when he wore the old powder blue jacket and he had the shoulder in a sling and he was far more entertaining than anything on TV. She is, said it quite well, she's worth her weight in gold.
Yes.
Dre Owen says AEW and WWE doing wild title changes. Exactly what I said was going to happen. That the reason why you don't want to do this the same week as what WWE has done is all you're going to do is draw comparisons to the other company and look like you are following rather than leading. And Dom, as the leader of this show, why don't you steer us forward here?
Well, let's kick it off here, Robert. Man, AEW Dynamite, like I said, hailed from Clearwater, Florida. I like the atmosphere, Robert. I think it looked pretty cool and unique, though.
Huh? It looked like my guess is not a paid show, but definitely a sponsored tourism-based show in let's put air quotes around beautiful Clearwater, Florida, home of apparently lots of sand and lots of heat. And that looked like one of the most miserable atmospheres on planet Earth to watch pro wrestling. It looked sweltering in there.
Seeing some of the reaction on social media, I have to agree with you because, it seemed like a lot of those people in the crowd were feeling that heat for sure.
Here's the deal here, kids. When it is July in any part of the great state of Florida and you are outdoors for more than 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to burst into flames and die. That is a scientific fact. They made these people sit out there for a pre-show involving the big show. And then a 2-hour and 15-minute broadcast under what looked like a metal shed with not a lot of air conditioning and Tony Schiavone in a suit. So rest in peace, Tony Schiavone. Rest in peace to anyone sitting next to the wrestling fan that may have been sitting next to him who probably perspiring profusely. Not a lot of antiperspirant, not a lot of deodorant. This would have been a great time for our friends at Mando
Yes.
to have stepped up, but they're not with us this week. But guys, if you're looking to get all hot and sweaty, can we
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about our friends at Blue Chew? Blue Chew is the better sex tablet. They combine 4 ingredients into one powerful solution. 2 ingredients to get you hard physically and 2 to support arousal and desire in the brain. It works fast and lasts. Guys, have a complete experience with Blue Chew Gold, and we've got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third for free with promo code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. You'll also receive an additional 10% off plus free overnight shipping with your first order. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. Yeah, they opened with Chris Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. Thought this was going to be a pay-per-view match. Thought this is where this was going. Instead, it ended the way any classic match ends: sand.
Sand all over the place. Mass chaos, mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together. Robert, did Jericho step up for you in this match?
I think Ciampa worked his ass off to make this a really good match. I think Jericho feels like he has something to prove. This kind of feels like the redemption tour for Chris, who opted to stick around with AEW, not go to WWE for that retirement run. So it's a chance for him to work with a guy like Ricochet, who WWE dropped the ball with, work with Tommaso Ciampa, who WWE dropped the ball with, maybe wind up working with, the Machine Guns or New Day when they come over.
Yeah. No, I thought this was a fine opener, but yeah, I thought this was going to be a pay-per-view thing, and it seemed like they were building that, but no, it opened beach break. It's fine.
And then after Ciampa tried to use a power drill on Chris Jericho. I know we're in Florida. I know there's not a lot of laws here, but even that probably frowned upon.
Yeah, not pleasantly looked at, I'm sure, right?
Nope.
Let's double back real quick. The show did open with Kenny Omega cutting a promo intensely to MJF. What did you think of that?
Of all the Kenny Omega promos I've heard, this was the most recent. I don't like him as a promo. I've never enjoyed him. This whole you need to kill me to beat me, and if you kill me, I will then shake your hand after and say you were the better man.
Did he say that?
It was something exactly along those lines. Every one of his promos always sounds weirdly performative. It has the delivery of like a QVC home shopping network person. It doesn't. Oh, if only he was as good as Maven. It just doesn't. Bro, it doesn't work for me.
Well, did this work for you, Robert? We had, oh my goodness, yes.
We had a Will Ospreay MJF promo before that.
Oh,
where I
yes.
watched this and I was like, oh, this is where you're going to make your money. The way these two talk to each other, the idea of the best in-ring technician versus the best all-around. Everything about this was absolutely fantastic. And I'm like, that is your all-in main event. But, what the hell do I know?
It was a great exchange. I like what both guys had to say in it, and with intensity. It was really, really good, and I thought captivating. Was this captivating for you, Robert? We had the International Championship, Konosuke Takeshita, champ.
Close enough.
Yep. Going up against Kyle Fletcher, challenger. And holy smokes, Kyle Fletcher just beat Takeshita straight up.
The first thought I had was, did Takeshita violate a wellness policy? That was a great match. That was a clean, definitive win by Kyle Fletcher. They tried to make it seem like Takeshita had this epic run. Like, he's been champion since all the way back in May. It's the beginning of July. Yeah. And I don't remember a single title defense that he's had. He may have had one or two in total. Didn't feel impactful or important or memorable in any way, shape, or form. And then they just go ahead and beat him.
Didn't even protect him. I would think Okada would maybe get involved. Something would happen. And, you're kind of off the races there. But I was very surprised and disappointed.
Well, Wrestling Old Head says, I assume that he lost because he's going to be part of the G1. Look, Here's the thing with this company. If they're going to be a serious entity, and we're going on like 6, 7 years of this, AEW needs to be your top priority. And if someone who's holding a title on the road to your biggest show of the year cannot maintain that championship because he's got commitments for the G1 or anything else, reprioritize your whole company.
And you have to think too, you got to plan out as a company. Okay, Takeshita's going to, we got this obligation. Okay, so let's not put the title on him. Let's not do that. And granted, I don't like the international championship. I don't like all these titles, so they feel pointless anyways. But I mean, you're not doing any favors, like jobbing Takeshita out like that either.
But the thing is that, I mean, look, it wasn't jobbing him out. It was a competitive match. He got beat clean. Kyle Fletcher continues to have this vibe of the next Randy Orton. So fittingly, the guy who comes out to interview him is Mick Foley. And in a perfect world, we would have gotten a Mick Foley Kyle Fletcher match similar to the Randy Orton Mick Foley match from many years ago. Instead, it was Mick talking about his dog that had died, which was sad. And then
Dog's
Kevin
still
Knight,
alive. The other dog's still
one
alive.
of the dogs, so one's alive, one is sadly not. And then Kevin Knight comes out to further a chasm between him and Kyle Fletcher, which we've seen this now twice with members of the Don Callis family. Dom, why can't they get along?
I don't know. That's like, I understand families have their, quabbles or whatever it is, but it seems like Don
What
Callis
was that
family
word
has
you
a
just
lot.
said? What's a
Quabble?
quabble?
Isn't it quabble? Quibble?
No, quabble's not a word. Quibble.
No?
Quibble.
Quibble.
That'd be a word. Yes.
All right.
Quabble sounds like an app that would have been developed in like the mid 2010s.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
no, there seems to be a lot of infighting in the Don Callis family.
there's a lot of quabbling. It's now a dusty phrase. It's now a dusty road. Man, they're quabbling. I don't know what's going on. There's quabbling going on in that ring, and then Andrade comes out. He's got a catchphrase that doesn't make any sense.
No.
And it makes me. Did you ever see A Mighty Wind?
Yes, great movie.
His catchphrase is so close to the Fred Willard, "Hey, what happened?" So every time he says it, it's like, this is not a real catchphrase, but the crowd still pops, I think, mainly out of heat stroke.
Yes.
So he then comes out in a 9-piece suit to basically say, like, no, I am going to be challenging MJF. And then they're like, no, good news. You are going to be challenging for the national title, which isn't even the international title, but they're both in the same ring. And did you know Mark Davis was the national champion?
Zero clue. Zero idea.
Zero idea. And then fear not, folks, this segment continues because then Darby comes out and you're going, how are you going to end this segment? And obviously the answer was an exploding skateboard.
Right. Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote stuff going down backstage at Beach Break.
This is a real television show by a real company where you had a fantastic match, a big promo segment, and then in the end, oh yeah, exploding skateboard.
Yeah, it felt very out of place, Robert, even for AEW standards, what they do. And Darby Allin, like the game plan that Darby and Andrade had together too. I mean, they're lucky it went that route because Darby was getting the crap beat out of him by 3 guys.
Yes, but fear not, because they knew at some point in time, don't worry, we have Chekhov's exploding skateboard ready to go. This company will not stop with exploding stuff, like because they had that stupid exploding death match that didn't work years ago, and because people hated that dumbass video game with all these weapons that made no sense. They're like, guess what? These are now part of continuity. So here we are.
Wrestling Old Head says Mark Davis looks like Sami Zayn's big brother.
Mark Davis looks like if Sami Zayn ate Sami Zayn.
That's right. If Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fused together, it'd be Mark Davis. That's a Dragon Ball Z. I don't like Dragon Ball Z, but I just understand that through my friends.
I'm not a Dragon Ball Z person. So,
neither am I.
But you know what we all are. We are all Workhorseman fans.
Oh yes.
I don't. It's July too early for quote of the year?
I don't think so.
When the commentators said that Workhorsemen have been around for 4 years and this is their 19th match.
What?
Yeah, as if this is a matter of pride. By the way, quick note: Devin Dowling says tonight is the season premiere of Big Brother. I'm so pumped. As much as I want to dive into Big Brother, and everyone knows how much I love Big Brother, I will be on a delay to start the season for about a month. My daughter, who loves watching, it's going to be at Sleepaway Camp, so we're gonna push off starting Big Brother till she gets back. So I am going to be in a bubble, and I trust all of you rumor and innuendoans to not quabble with me. And let's keep those Big Brother spoilers away. What was certainly a spoiler is the fact that, can you believe Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay beat the Workhorsemen in their 19th match in 4 years?
Unbelievable. And
you will tell your grandchildren where you were.
It took them over 10 minutes, Robert. It took them over 10 minutes to beat the Workhorsemen.
Dude, this went way too long. I also thought the point of this match was to set up the inevitable what we were going to get in the main event that we ultimately didn't get, that we will talk about in a few moments. Before then, Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal. We were like, oh, is it going to be Willow? We're like, nah, that seems way too soon for her to come back from this really serious injury. But good news, she's back.
She's back. I like it. I like that. Yeah, to your point, the gauntlet was a little long in the tooth, I thought. The pacing wasn't that great. I liked some of the talent in there, and Thekla, she saved the whole thing because of what she had to, her fun stuff she said on commentary.
Thekla is magic. They need to. She is the Toni Storm replacement they were hoping for, and I kind of like Toni Storm. I can't wait until Thekla's in WWE and they know how to truly use her.
Not always the case. Not always the case with them.
I think for her, I think so, because the finish of the match. So Willow gets the win, and then Mercedes helps Thekla to lay out Willow. I don't know. I'm confused, but what I'm not confused about is that Jungle Jack Perry, has re-signed mainly because nobody else wants him.
Oh, I thought maybe because I asked Tony directly about it.
Yes, you were the reason that they were like, oh yeah, we probably should re-sign Jungle Jack Perry.
You're welcome, Jack.
Now he can finally go recapture the national title.
Oh, the cherished national title. It's a great looking belt, but my goodness, it's non-existent to me.
Or they can go after the TNT title. Hey, Dom, who's the TNT champion?
That would be Kevin Knight.
So you got Kevin Knight as the TNT champion, but he's going after the world title. Yep. The national champion is Mark Davis. The international champion is Kyle Fletcher. There's a continental title.
Who holds it?
That's held by Okada. No, wait, no. Isn't there was a continental title? There's a continental title. I think I could have sworn there's another title.
There is one. Yeah.
That was the other title. This company's too many belts.
Is it Okada? I think it's Okada.
I thought Okada had a belt. That's what I just said. You looked at me like I was crazy.
No,
didn't Takeshita beat? I don't know. Main event of this show. Dom, what'd you think of the match?
I thought it was good. I mean,
Moxley has the Continental title. Thank you, Wrestling Old Head.
Moxley does? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good match. I liked the result, ultimately, but I know you didn't.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to provide some layers as to what you thought was going to be set up with the Will Ospreay thing?
Well, it felt like the most logical situation if we were to treat this as if this was narrative storytelling, and that the world that they have constructed is 100% real. And if everyone was 100% real, how would you react and respond? That's the best way when booking. So if Jon Moxley and the Death Riders are all about iron sharpening iron and finding the best pathways to success, and that the whole reason that Moxley had to create the Death Riders was because the culture of AEW was such that it was not fostering the best of pro wrestling. We can agree on that point, correct?
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you on that.
The faces of what was the problem with AEW were the elite. Cody Rhodes, no longer there. Hangman Adam Page, no longer allowed to challenge for a world title. The Young Bucks, not singles competitors. The only guy left who could be AEW world champion and undo all of the work that the Death Riders have been doing is Kenny Omega. So if you can take away Kenny Omega's one opportunity to become world champion again, why would you not do that? And on top of which, since they're trying to help Will Ospreay become AEW world champion, you're taking away a distraction. That's where this felt like this was going. I did this for you because we're such good friends. That's why, like, you and I were palling around earlier, fighting the Workhorsemen in their 19th match in 4 years. What a prestigious moment this was in wrestling history. Clearly you're on our team. We gave you a neat little metal badge that you got, your merit badge that you get to sew on your jacket. And now it's, look what we did to help you. And then Ospreay suddenly going, oh, I've made a deal with the devil. I can't work with you guys. And then Kenny goes after Kenny goes after Moxley in the I am Obi-Wan, this is Vader, I'm going to fight for your soul, while you then go focus on getting that world title. So in that finish where you had Ospreay out there and the ring and all that other nonsense and all these different distractions, it felt like there was the door to be open for, oh no, here comes Jon Moxley, and he winds up costing Kenny Omega the match. And then after the match is over, Max is celebrating. Kenny's there going, what the hell? Ospreay standing on one side looking at Moxley going, bruv, what the hell? That was a compelling story to get you to All In. Instead, we're now going to get Ospreay versus Kenny Omega, in part because Tony Khan's like, well, I got to give you a 55-minute main event match, which does not really work in a stadium the way that it works in an arena or a dome.
Mm-hmm.
The sound doesn't necessarily travel. It's also going to be at the end of a very long night, because look, if Forbidden Door went almost 6 hours, All In's going 13 hours straight.
Yeah.
This thing will be a 3-day event, but it's just one show without any breaks. The crowd is going to want to see a good match, but they want an emotional journey. This main event signaled to me, Tony, for whatever reason, doesn't have the confidence in MJF to be the guy to carry your biggest show. The Vince McMahon WrestleMania formula is your big evil heel that you want to see get toppled and anoint your new shiny babyface. This was his WrestleMania 14 opportunity. This was Shawn Michaels at the peak of his evilness, finally being toppled while wallowing in his own crapulence. See, Simpsons reference for you kids. And then Will Ospreay vanquishes all evil, and he is now your world champion, and everybody can be universally happy. Now, we're going to get Omega versus Ospreay, where Kenny is talking about, hey, you gotta focus. This is your opportunity, but I can't really be backing you because I'm the champion and I don't want you to beat me. But also, you shouldn't be associating with Moxley. It's a hat on a hat on a hat. It's too many stories for one singular match. You don't have anything lined up for MJF right now, going into All In. You don't definitively have anything lined up for Jon Moxley going into All In. And it's a babyface match that, yeah, it's a nice match to have, and it may get a bunch of stars for Meltzer, but is this going to move tickets? And the reason why I open this by saying I just don't understand this company, it has been tried and true over years that what makes wrestling the most successful is an emotional story arc. You as the audience, you as the fan, are taking that journey to get to whatever that big cathartic release is. It's why Austin worked as well as he did. It's why Cody finishing his story, worked as well as it did. If this is in fact the plan, this is odd. And they've already announced that this is the main event for All In. They're selling tickets on the back of this is it for All In. So it doesn't feel like there's going to be a world title match at Redemption.
Oh, good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's a great point. Maybe what we'll see is Ospreay versus Moxley at Redemption. You can build to that because Ospreay did run in. He was interfered, so maybe Mox will take exception to that. There's some tension going on there. But, I mean, the reason I did predict that this is the match we were going to get is because that's how I thought Tony Khan was thinking, and that's the way it was going to go. And I think too, if you put Omega versus Ospreay in Wembley, that is the marquee match because of those names. Now, like, not saying that MJF isn't capable of doing that and making, because to that point earlier, the segment that him and Ospreay had was great. So I think you could have done that. I just don't think Tony decided to do that. I think you can still pay some things off. Don't necessarily trust that they're going to do that, though. So
I just feel like they do not trust their own inherent storytelling. And this is what bugged me about the WrestleMania main event. So for those people who want to think I'm bagging on AEW, not WWE, I hated the Roman Reigns CM Punk main event build because it was a betrayal of everything that we were watching storyline wise for the last prior 5-6 months. And since then, storylines have not really improved dramatically. And now we're going into SummerSlam with a bunch of matches that are convoluted at best. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns on a poster. Hey, I know those guys. Nobody thinks that Seth Rollins is winning. It's not exactly an exciting, compelling match to go sell at a stadium, but based on metrics, those are known names. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay are probably like, hey, it'd be a lot of fun if we had a match. Great. Same company that lets Takeshita go do the G1 instead of focusing all in. If you're going to be treated seriously as a business and you're going to run a stadium that you need to sell out, you need to give the people more. And I just don't think that this match is going to move that needle enough to sell that stadium out.
Let me ask you this before we close it out. Do you think, though, Ospreay versus MJF would do that? Because I don't think either way they're going to sell that out.
I think that you can, knowing how AEW structures their pay-per-views, the audience that cares about bell-to-bell mat classics knows Tony's going to deliver. No matter who it is, what it is, he will find a way to give you 3, 4, 5 insane 5, 6, 7, 8 star matches. But at the very tippy top, to get someone to pay to go to a stadium show and be willing to sit miles away from the actual ring or kilometers away, because we're over in the UK, they need an emotional hook. You need a reason to want to go and be there. And I think wanting to see MJF get toppled and watch Will Ospreay win his first world title, that is a better universal feel-good moment. Cody beating Roman for his world title was a better feeling than Cody beating CM Punk for the world title. Yes, right. There's a story, but you only get one opportunity for it to be the first time ever. I just don't see it, and I'll be curious to see where it pans out. But you don't have to be curious as to when you can see Dom and I again, as we'll be back here tomorrow, as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISHX account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Studio One Sports and Podcast Heat. So on behalf of the man who invented the word quabble, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Let's not quibble. Let's not quabble. Let's squabble. See you guys.